Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, lift off.
What's up, guys, and welcome to our Kids Edition featuring me, your host, Lauren Olivia. So, guys, it's official. We've launched our platform, Our Kids Edition, and welcome you to tune in each week to Our Kids Edition website and listen to our podcast. And if you want to see more pictures of me and my co-hosts, our guests, our ribbon cutting and balloon release, go to www.ourkidsedition.com, www.ourkidsedition.com. So here's our agenda. This week's topic is the power of friendship. So I'm sure everyone has a best friend or someone that you really get along with, or even a sibling that could be a good friend of yours. So our guest speaker is Mr. Tyrone Shealy. He is a counselor and teacher. And closing remarks will be asked by our Kids Edition panel. And our sponsor is Mary Kay and the Blush Factor. And these are really, really good makeup lines, so make sure you use them. And one thing that I have over here, as you can see on the screen, is a little friendship quote. So it's called, "True friends are never apart, maybe in distance, but never in heart." So meaning you'll always have your friend with you just because you might be from a far distance. So here's our Kids Edition panel. We have Elizabeth, Ava, Noah, and me, your host, Lauren Olivia. And this special guest in the hot seat is, drumroll please, our Kids Edition panel. Let's give him a round of applause. Is Mr. Tyrone Shealy, counselor and teacher. So now I'm handing the mic over to Elizabeth.
Fun fact about Mr. Shealy's favorite thing. His favorite food is barbecue. His favorite movie is Space Jam. His favorite grade subject is language arts. His favorite color is forest green, and his favorite car is Mercedes-Benz GT.
I have to agree with you on the barbecue. Bussin'.
Yeah,
Top tier food right there.
Yes, love barbecue anywhere, especially in Texas now.
Yeah.
I had amazing barbecue till I came to Texas. So
Texas barbecue is good.
Which Space Jam is your favorite? The first one or the second?
yeah, I was younger when the first one came out, and that's the one I fell in love with. I love the remake with LeBron James, but I fell in love with the first one with Michael Jordan. My mom is a huge Michael Jordan fan, so she made sure we saw that movie.
Okay. Now, well, I'll fill in for Noah. Today's topic is the power of friendship. Team, what are your thoughts on friendship? Lauren, you can start first.
My thoughts on friendship are your friendship to me. So what I used to call one of my friends was my twin or my other half. So in a way, I feel like that's the other half of you. So they make you smile, they make you happy. You can be yourself around them, and that's what I think that's what friendship is, where you're not afraid to be you.
I kind of agree with Lauren, because when you're with a friend, you can let yourself, like she said, you can be yourself around your friends. And like when you're holding something in, you can let it go.
Well, what I think friendship means is basically you have a friend that you can do anything with. You can talk to them about anything. You can, and I don't mean this as a bad way. Like you can act up with them. They are like your sister or your brother.
Yeah, because whenever you're like me and Lauren, we do. Sometimes we get in an argument, but we always make up.
Yes, because I think that's one important thing is even though you argue, even though you fight, you always, at the end of the day, you want to maintain a friendship. Sometimes you got to be the bigger person and apologize, because most likely if you apologize, the other person's going to apologize too. And then also what you said, Elizabeth, that a friendship's kind of like a sister or a brother in a way. One thing that I think about that is that when you have like your friendship friendship, the one thing about it is like you can tell, I feel like you can tell anything to your friends. So maybe like your goals or things that you want to succeed in life with, family, your other friendships that you might be going through too. So Mr. Shealy, what are your thoughts about friendship?
I love everything that you all just said. And actually, Lauren, I was paying close attention to what you said in terms of twin, because my first best friend was actually my sister. And we're 13 months apart, but because we were so close in age and we looked so much alike growing up, we used to tell everyone we were twins. So we've been best friends since we were younger. But I absolutely think it's someone you can trust. As Ava mentioned, you're going to have conflict, you're going to have disagreements, but at the end of the day, the end goal should always be to resolve things and to always have positive communication with one another. So I love all of you all's responses. And my twin, me and all my friends, just like Elizabeth said, not in a bad way, but we do act up together. We have a good time. So everything you all said, you all captured it.
I agree.
Yes, absolutely.
We're like sisters from another mister.
Oh, what's the other one? Brothers from another mother or something?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. All that. I think all those things are very, very important. Very, very important in terms of making sure that we hold on to those friendships that share the same values as you all mentioned, right? How to resolve conflict, being there for one another, having fun at the end of the day. You always want to make sure we're having fun with our friends. So yeah,
And
all of that.
yeah, it makes sense for them to be like your sister or your brother because, for example, like when I'm having a problem or I'm sad, Lauren always brings me up.
Yep, there we go.
I'm the silly friend.
Yeah.
I'm the silly friend. I make you laugh. That's my job.
That's true.
Awesome.
So thank you for answering our question, and thank you, panel, for telling us your thoughts about friendship.
Oh, wow.
So now I'm handing the mic over to Ava.
So this week's focus is friendship. Our Kids Edition would like to encourage kids around the world to get involved in understanding friendship. We are using our platform to help kids understand the value of exploring and experiencing new interests. We suggest kids talk to your parents, teachers, family, and friends about getting involved in activities to meet new people and make new friendships and in our communities. Kids have an opinion about establishing friendships, simply from a kid's point of view.
And it's funny because you can have a friendship, like, you know how you have several friendship groups. You might have like your friends, like your homegirls, the people that you see the most, or your like school friends, and then you have your neighborhood friends. So you kind of have friends with everyone. And then this is a funny picture.
I was about to say, speaking of, Lauren is a comedian.
And then you see the picture up above because you see Ava laughing.
I was smacking the table because I was laughing so hard and Noah was just eating nerds.
I know, right? And then you have our launch party over there where that was a fun day too, in a way, because we got to try different things. We got to cut a ribbon. That was new.
Yeah, that was fun.
Especially as a kid.
So stylish.
Yes, ma'am. And we got to do it at the city council too. So what we do to play a fun game and break the ice a little bit, we pretty much play a game. So we like to have fun. We like to get to know our guests. So each of us pretty much ask you a question of would you rather, and you're going to answer it.
Okay, sounds good.
So are you ready for the would you rather game?
I'm ready.
Okay, so I'm going to go first. So would you rather never use social media again or never watch another movie ever again?
Oh, wow. Because you know what? I use social media every day and I don't watch movies every day, but every weekend I commit to either watching a really, really scary movie or a comedy. So I'm like, I would probably have to say never watch another movie again because I know how much
Me
I use
too.
social media.
Me
You
too.
agree, Ava? You too?
Me too. Yep.
Wait, you have to tell me, which social media can you not give up? What platform?
YouTube?
TikTok.
No, wait.
YouTube?
No. I'm sorry. Yeah, TikTok. I'm sorry.
TikTok? Yeah, see, I
Yeah.
love TikTok. I love Instagram. I love YouTube.
I
You know,
don't really care for YouTube. I just watch it when I want to watch a full video or something.
Yeah, or I like a lot of interviews and stuff too. So yeah, definitely that one. That was long and hard. I love my movies, but I'm like, yeah, I need social media in my life. I would be out of the loop. I wouldn't know what was going on in the world, right?
Yeah. So then my next question to you is, would you rather not eat pizza anymore or eat lettuce only?
Not eat pizza anymore.
Yes, because you can eat other things.
Right, absolutely. Because you know what? The funny thing about pizza is I never crave pizza. You know, some foods you're like, oh, I want some wings or maybe some tacos or some barbecue, maybe. But I never ever say I'm craving pizza. It's always just by chance. It's
Pizza
there.
comes to me. I don't.
Yeah, pizza comes to me, right?
Yeah.
I love that, Ava. Pizza comes to you. So yeah, I would just probably not ever eat pizza anymore because just eating lettuce, I'm not around.
You'd be
When you eat
really
something-
skinny. You'd be
When you
Right.
eat something forever, it gets really gross.
Right, and boring. So
So,
boring.
so my next question to you is, would you rather never go outside again or never sleep again?
Oh,
I know the answer.
these are getting tougher and tougher, Lauren. I think you did this to me on purpose.
I need harder questions ahead.
I'm like, oh wow, would you rather never go outside again or never sleep again? I love to sleep. I love a good nap. I do a lot during the week, so but then I'd be stuck in my house.
Please, hold on.
All I
You
can do
can, you
is
can
sleep.
have a hamster ball.
A hamster ball.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh man. I guess never go outside because I feel like we can't really survive without sleep. I think it's
Everything
human
online.
beings.
Right?
Yeah.
You can get like an outside ecosystem inside, something like that.
Something like that. Hey, Noah. Hey. How you doing?
Order to your door.
Good.
Yeah, so I guess I'll never go outside again. So our bodies need sleep to function. So
Oh,
So my next question to you is, would you rather have telekinesis, the ability to move things with your mind, or telepathy, the ability to read minds?
oh, and
You're
I
gonna be
actually
like
wanted-
Wanda.
I
from,
know,
WandaVision.
right? Yeah. I think I would want to move things with my mind. I think I would.
You know, that's actually a really hard question because that's like choosing if you were to have a power, which one would you have? So
Yeah.
I would rather have telepathy, however you say it, because like then if somebody's talking behind your back, you can know.
I
And
would
you
just
like,
be
think
curious what people think, though. Aren't you ever curious to think, like, what do people really think?
Yeah.
and you
Yeah.
could think
But
like
to move
what
things.
animals think or something.
But to move things with your mind.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
one's
that's
cool
hard.
too.
So, guys, we gotta hurry up a little bit, but I am going to hand the mic over to Ava now.
So, would you rather celebrate the 4th of July with The Rock or Christmas with Kevin Hart?
Oh,
I can't even answer this question.
dog for this.
Oh,
It
I,
has to be Christmas for me.
I know my answer. Yeah, Christmas for me too.
Kevin Hart is hilarious.
I know. You can have a hilarious Christmas.
Yes, yeah, I think I want to
Yes.
go with that. There it is.
Okay,
Christmas with
okay.
Kevin Hart.
What about
My
the
second-
rock? He can sing you a beautiful rap.
Yeah,
Yes,
you're right.
It's
You
about
probably
God.
could.
It's about power.
We stay
Right.
hungry, we devour.
Yes.
Yeah, I think I would choose the Christmas with Kevin Hart. I'm gonna go with that one because he cracks me up.
I mean,
Well, would you rather spend a week in the forest or the desert? Why is this a question?
Right.
Why is this a
Forest.
It's like the most obvious answer ever.
Right, in the forest.
Yes. Because the
Because you
desert doesn't
can
have
to be
water.
a rainforest, and then
This
I
The
mean, there
next
might be
one-
jaguars, but like
The next
if you
one will
have
be hard.
telekinesis, you can move the jaguars and not tell them, but like you can move them away from you.
Yeah, yeah, you could. And with
Well,
the
my third
telepathy,
question is: would you rather kiss a frog or a rat?
a frog, because I feel like rats, they could bite you back. And if you ever seen the rats in New York, they're as big as cats. They're
Oh.
My last question to you is: would you rather someone see all the photos in your phone or read all your text messages?
huge.
Oh,
That's hard.
Oh.
I would say
Photos.
text messages.
photo.
Yeah, I would.
No, photos. Photos.
No, it's
Photos
only
have
if you have
no-
funny,
Yeah, I
silly
would say photos.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's true. That's actually true.
But what if you have like funny and silly and embarrassing photos?
Yeah.
Now I'm
Or
handing
if
the
you
mic-
got funny and silly embarrassing
Now
text
I'm handing the
messages.
mic over to Elizabeth.
Thank you,
Would
Ava.
you rather be in an extra Oscar winning movie or the lead in the box office bomb?
Ooh.
Since I don't know what box office bomb means.
It means
It's-
like the movie
it's
didn't have
history.
much success.
Okay,
history.
thank you.
Like, it bombed. It was like box office bomb. You know, box office means like, movie theater. So bomb mean it didn't do good. Would you rather be an extra in an Oscar-winning movie or the lead in a box office bomb? I would rather be an extra in an Oscar-winning movie. I would absolutely.
You
That's
get
true. Yeah,
money.
that's true. Actually, yeah, that's true.
I feel like I can handle that better.
Yeah.
Would you rather have one wish granted today or 10 wishes granted 20 years from now?
Today, so
Um,
I can live forever.
Yeah. And I'd be that person that would wish for more wishes. So I'm going to take that wish today.
Oh, yeah. Wish for more wishes.
I wish that was true.
Right.
Very
If
funny.
it was possible.
Would you rather sing every time you open your mouth or never talk again?
You know what? I would sing because I do a lot of that. I sing around the house.
Okay.
I sing in the car. I I love to sing. So
Personally, me, I would never talk again. This is how I get to learn sign language. And you could write it down on
Oh.
paper.
I never thought about that. That's good, Elizabeth. Yeah, you can learn sign language. That's one way to acquire a skill because if you can't talk, then you have to learn how to communicate another way. So yeah, I like that. Man, y'all are some thinkers.
Okay. Oh my gosh. Would you rather find true love or win a lottery next year?
Win a lottery next year, unfortunately.
Hold on. What if, hold on. I have a question. Like, it's not really a question, but like, what if your true love was the lottery?
Right. What if it's meant for me to have all of this fortune? What if that's meant to be? And
I
what
think
if
so.
I get the fortune, then what if I find true love after that? It just says, find true love or win the lottery. Right, Lauren? I see you nodding your head.
Yeah, it's only because I feel like if you win the lottery, you'll see who truly loved you, like just not for the money. So it's kind of a test in a way.
Yes. Oh, wow.
Now I'm-
Yes.
Now I'm
Absolutely.
handing the mic over to Noah.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Would you rather get a bad sunburn or forget your beach towel?
Probably get a bad sunburn. I think I can handle that because I've had them before, and they're not crazy painful. Just with a little cream and kind of just a little love and care. They're not horrible, but I think I would be awfully embarrassed if I forgot my towel, and I'd be so mad because I'm like, well, what am I gonna do? So, good question, Noah.
Thank you. My next question is, would you rather have a camel or a giraffe?
I love the way giraffes look, and they're so serene and they're so peaceful. But I would be dishonest if I say I wouldn't like to ride on the camel around the neighborhood. So I'm gonna go with I'd rather have a camel.
Would you rather see 10 minutes into the future or 150 years into the future?
Oh, definitely 150 years. I would definitely love to see what this world will have come up with or what's to come in 150 years. I think I would be astounded. I wouldn't know what to think. So I definitely would love to see 150 years what this world looks like.
Okay.
Great
Now I'm
questions,
handing-
Noah. Thank you.
Now I'm handing the mic over to Lauren.
So thank you so much for playing the game. But Mr. Shealy, you kind of remind me of Tyler Perry. Your voice sounds familiar to me.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Like when I was like, he looks like Tyler Perry a little bit.
Who's Tyler Perry?
I need that Tyler Perry money. I know I have. I typically don't wear my glasses, but my contacts would give me a hard time this week. So I'm wearing my glasses today. But thank you. Thank you. I'll take that.
You're welcome. So thanks again for playing the game. You did an excellent job. Let's give him a round of applause.
Thank you. Thank you. I loved it.
So roundtable discussion. So normally what we do each time is we discuss friendship. So do you think it's important to have different friend groups? What do you think, Noah?
I think it's important to have different friend groups for like different activities. Like if you have a job, you would want to hang out with that friend group in your job because you can't bring over your actual friends. But you really wouldn't want to hang them outside of that because it will just feel weird because they're from job.
So what about you, Ava?
I don't know. I'm on kind of like both sides of having it and not having it, because it depends on what friend you have. Maybe they'll take it offensive, or maybe they won't.
Well, I think it depends on like if you have your friends like from your whatever other thing you do. I think it just depends, and make sure you include everybody, because like that's the only way that people get upset about it. But I think having different friends groups is important because you don't want to be at school and you be all alone, or you don't want to be at work and you don't have anyone to help you with it. So I think it's important. What about you, Lizzie? What are your thoughts?
Personally, me, I think it's good to have different friends because if one friend isn't there for you, maybe another friend will be. And like, there's always somebody to cheer you on.
Yeah, that's true. So what about you, Mr. Shealy?
Yeah, I agree with all of you. I think it is important to have different friend groups. You know, at my age, at 31, you know, I'm a little older than you all, but what I've realized is that some of my friends have different interests, right? Like one friend I have, like we're both really, really into sneakers and, you know, making sure we get, you know, the new drops, and, you know, another friend, not so much. So, you know, he or she may not want to hang out in the same way, but it doesn't take away from that. I love and have a genuine friendship with the both of them. But sometimes you do have different friend groups. And I agree with you, Elizabeth, about, you know, sometimes that if one friend isn't available and you may need a shoulder to cry on, or, you know, someone to listen to you in that moment for you to vent to, you know, if that friend's not available, you go to that other friend. So absolutely, you guys are spot on with that. I agree.
Yeah, so that's my thoughts, and I think everyone said theirs too. So thank you for answering the question. So these are some television friendships. So one thing that I love is when I watch TV, I love seeing the different types of friendships. So we got our 90s friendship. We got Sean and Corey. These are probably one of the most iconic friendships. And then we got one of Ava's favorite friendships, actually. It's from Save from the Bell. We have the whole group there. And then Stranger Things. I'm sure y'all have heard of that show before. We have Steve and Dustin. And then we have Never Have I Ever, Debbie, I believe. And then we have one of our most iconic of all time. We got SpongeBob and Patrick. They are well known, well known.
They are. Sometimes they're enemies, though.
Yeah. And then we have Riley and Maya from Girls Meet World, the spinoff of Boys Meet World. And then we have Peter and Ned from Spider-Man. We have Cher from what's it called? What's the name? Oh, Clueless. And then we have Meredith and Christina from Grey's Anatomy. and then anatomy, and then we have Captain Holt, Jake Peralta, and Rosa Diaz from Brooklyn 99. So these are some of our television friendships, and that's kind of like when we see those friendships, sometimes it makes us think, hey, that's the friendship that I want. So that's why I included this. Did anyone have any thoughts about that?
No.
Okay. Well, now it's time for Take the Mic. It's where our Kids Edition panel will ask questions to our guests. So I'm going to be the first one to do it. So as you can see, this is my part. So that's me and one of my best friends, and then I have a picture of me and my puppies right there, because they're like besties, they're best friends or whatever. So my first question to you is, how do you maintain a healthy friendship?
Oh wow, I
Mr.
love
Shealy.
it. These are awesome pictures too. I think maintaining a healthy friendship is making sure it has something that's built upon that's positive, right? So if you go back to thinking about what drew you to connecting with that friend in the beginning, right? So you all had similar interests, you met at school, or they're in your community, you both love to dance, or you both love podcasting, but just maintaining that and making sure that there's always positive communication. And I think Ava touched on this earlier, that there will always be conflict, but just making sure that the end goal is to have a resolution, right? And to make positive change. So just making sure that you kind of keep that in open communication and trusting each other.
Yeah, that's very important to maintain a healthy friendship. So then my second question to you is, why are friendships important?
Oh man, they're so important. Again, across the lifespan, for being you all's age to being where I am now, I see the value in friendship, and that sometimes you need others to lean on, and that may come through the form of family members as well. But just they're very, very important, because we never know what life can bring us, right? Life brings us many joys, many good times and ups, but it can also kind of bring about the opposite. So kind of having the friends, that you can count on, that you trust, that are in place is very, very important, because we need those, because life can bring about a lot. And just having friends, in your corner that really love you and care about you is invaluable.
Yeah, that's really important. And then my third and final question to you is, which activities are good to share with friends?
Which activities are good to share? I think ones that you're genuinely interested in. If we talk about a real connection with friends, one that is solid, and one that again has a good foundation, a healthy foundation. I think sharing activities that you're really interested in with your friend is kind of what you want to share, because what you're genuinely interested in, not that your friend has to be interested in that, but just the fact that you're sharing it with them, you're sharing a part of yourself, right?
Yeah. So thank you for answering my questions. And now I'm handing the mic to Elizabeth.
Okay, so my first question is, how does somebody make a new friend?
Ooh, that's a great question. And you all know, as my role as a school counselor, I'm always trying to help students, adjust to new environments, if you're new to the school, or being a part of a new friend group. But making a new friend takes a lot of courage sometimes, because that person is almost like a stranger until you kind of get to know them. So it's not until you get familiar that you really, really learn that person. But I think kind of putting yourself out there. If we talk about when you meet someone new, you're naturally going to want to create conversation, right? So that we look at our conversation skills. We start asking questions. What are their interests? What do they do on the weekends? Their favorite foods. I love what you all asked about my favorite color and my favorite 7th grade subject and things like that, because you got a chance to get to know me, but you also kind of look at yourself and see like, oh, like Ava said, I love barbecue too. So, and it wasn't until you asked me that you were able to find out something about me and see that we had something in common. So looking for commonalities through conversation, right? Also making sure that that we are listening as well. So it's one thing to kind of connect with someone and tell them what you're into, but you want to make sure that you're also lending an ear, right? Making sure that you're listening. So yeah, I hope I answered that.
Okay, my second question is, how does somebody handle a disagreement with a friend?
Oh, that's another one too that we run into a lot. So, handling a disagreement with a friend and as you guys touched on it earlier, it's just gonna happen. Just in friendships, you're always gonna have a disagreement. But I think it goes back to making sure that we express our feelings and our needs, right? Friends, we let each other know, what we feel and what we need. And by listening to that, we make sure that we are meeting the expectations that our friend has for us and vice versa. So making sure that we're listening and again, making sure the end goal in conflict is always a resolution. Friends always want to resolve something. It's not always about being right or winning the argument, but it's finding a resolution that's for the betterment of the friendship.
Okay, my third and final question is, how should a person make sure they spend quality time with all of their friends?
Oh, another awesome question. Because again, at my age, I run into this too a lot too. I think it goes back to trying, and our emphasis on trying to have equal time with your friends. And I'll give you an example. On Tuesdays, one of my friends loves tacos. So we go out for Taco Tuesdays on Tuesdays, right? But then I have another friend that really enjoys, seafood. So on Fridays, it's just like, oh, well, that's our thing. We go out and get seafood on Fridays. And I try to make sure that I stay consistent and spending equal time with them. But I'm also making sure that I communicate if I'm not able to commit to that time. And as friends, they would understand that. So just making sure that it's equal and making sure that I'm trying to be consistent, but I'm also being honest about if I can't meet those expectations.
Thank you for answering my question. And now I'm handing the mic over to Noah.
Thank you.
For my first question, how would you define friendship?
Great question. I would define friendship as a connection or a bond between maybe two individuals or a group that share the same kind of beliefs, interests, and values, and they have a mutual respect for each other. That's kind of how I would, it's a long definition, but kind of something like that when I think about it. I think everyone has their own definition of friendship, but I think I kind of gave you all kind of the textbook one, but when I think of the friendships that I have, I would think about, again, a mutual connection, and it's built upon a positive foundation, but it is also a revolving door of communication to make sure that we can maintain that.
Mm-hmm. For my second question, who is your best friend and how long have you been friends?
Oh, I love this one. And I'm so glad that they're both not here because they would argue who was the best. You got those best friends that are like, no, I was the best friend. I was here first. I've known you since 4th grade, or I knew you since we were kids. I would say, like I mentioned earlier, my first best friend is my sister. Like I said, we're 13 months apart. We've always just remained close. But once I got to kindergarten, my best friend was Kyrie. His name was Kyrie. Our moms were close friends. We spent a lot of time together. We played basketball together. And then once I moved away, our friendship changed a little bit. But even at the age of 31, like I said, we met when we were 4. Anytime I go back home, the love is still there and the connection is still there because we've known each other for so long. So yeah, I would say my sister, her name is Kia, and then my best friend, Kyrie.
Okay. Why is it important to be yourself with a friend?
Oh, great question. It's important to be yourself. A little as I mentioned earlier, you want to have a genuine, connection with your friend, right? You want to make sure that you are being yourself, because if you are not, your friend may or may not like you for who they think you are presenting yourself to be. Does that make sense? Almost like you're presenting a mask to them, and that's not who you really are. So if they come to like this person or dislike this person, you're not really showing them your true, authentic self. So it's important that you take off that mask and you show your real, true, bare face, so they can, love and trust you as you are in its true form.
I have a quick question for you before Noah hands it over to Ava.
Sure.
So can you maintain like a healthy friendship with can you have like a parent child friendship in a way?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think there are limits to that because as your parent, they are the end all be all, right? So whatever mom or dad says kind of has to go. But I do welcome student and parent relationships that are built upon, communication, transparency, right, and being honest with one another. I think it's important that the student does have a voice, right? Even though it's a younger voice, their voice is still very important. But I can also equally say that for a parent as well. A parent needs to have a voice and have a say so and create those boundaries for that student, because you all are kind of still learning and developing. So our parents have to guide us, but you all also have a voice. So I think that's important to incorporate that in a parent and student relationship. Great
Well,
question.
thank you for answering my question. I was just curious.
Yeah, I love your questions. I'm like, come on with them. Yeah, great question, Lauren. Thank you.
So now I'm handing the mic over to Ava.
So my first question to you is, what is the worst friendship you have ever seen or encountered?
Ever seen or encountered? I would say, I don't know if you all ever watched the Rugrats on Nickelodeon. I watched it a lot when I was younger. But I remember the relationship that, I don't know if you all remember Tommy's cousin Angelica. She was the one that was a little bit older. She loved cookies, and she would kind of manipulate and be mean to the younger babies to kind of get what she wanted. But when it was time for her to build a relationship with a friend on that show, I saw that Angelica didn't present the same values in a friendship as her friend did. Her friend trusted her. Her friend would be there for her. She would, support her through things. But she didn't give that back. Angelica didn't return that same those same values in a friendship. So of course it wasn't long lasting. It didn't stay because it's a two-way street when we have those friendships. So that's one that I remember growing up being like, yeah, I would never be that type of friend. Ever, ever, ever. So that's probably the worst one I've ever seen. Great question, Ava.
Thank you. Well, my second question to you is, how can someone sustain a good friendship after a disagreement?
Oh, great one. And I think I mentioned this earlier, but we have to make sure that when we do have a disagreement, making sure that we are expressing our feelings and our needs, right? Our wants, our feelings, and our needs. Because typically when we have a disagreement, it's because our friend didn't meet an expectation that we have, right? They didn't meet an expectation that we have. So it's important to make sure that when we're resolving that conflict, that again, the end goal is for us to maintain friends, to learn from this disagreement, and to see what both of us could do next time so that we don't have to repeat this or revisit this disagreement, right? So just making sure that we have positive communication, but we're actually also actively listening to each other, right? You ever have an argument with a friend and they're just saying whatever they're saying and you're waiting for them to finish just so you can say what you got to say, right? But in an honest conflict resolution, that's not how things are done. How it's done is that you are actually actively listening and you're holding on to every word that your friend is saying because you want to understand where they're coming from, right? So we have to make sure we're actively listening and then we provide a response. But we can't then provide a response if we weren't listening. We just wanted to kind of get out our angry words or our mad words, and that's not a positive resolution. So making sure we have that.
That's a nice So my third question to you would be, how do you become friends with your best friend, other friends, without doubt?
Without feeling left out. Yeah, and I've been in this before, on both ends of it. I've been the person that has accidentally kind of left someone out, and I've been the one that's been left out, right? And I think if this sounds about right, it kind of gives me the idea of like kind of like a third wheel. Are you all familiar with like the idea of like when it says someone says, "Oh, I don't want to be the third wheel"? It kind of
Yes.
sounds like that. Yeah, a little bit like that. So, and again, as I got older, I had to learn this, and it was very difficult when I was you all's age because again, I was still learning and growing. But just understanding that sometimes, as much as we want to mix our friends, sometimes it may not work. Sometimes personalities don't necessarily mesh together. You may be friends with this person for this reason, and you may be friends with this person over here, but those two people may not be friends just simply because they don't mesh. So sometimes just understanding that that occurs, and there are certain dynamics in a friendship, right? And just understanding that you may not have to be friends with everyone all the time. Sometimes you can hang out with that one friend, and hanging out in threes or fours or sometimes fives in a group may not work. And just understanding that and being okay with it.
Thanks for answering all my questions. Now I'm handing the mic over to Lauren.
Thank you, Ava. Awesome questions.
So closing remarks for Mr. Shealy. So thank you to our co-host for those outstanding questions. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, and thank you to our wonderful guest, Mr. Tyrone Shealy. So closing remarks. So Mr. Shealy has a new project, All Stars Ambassador Student Leadership Team. So I have a quick question for you. So how did you enjoy the show?
I loved it. I loved you all's questions. I love your energy. This has been so much fun. Like waking up on a Saturday doing this is so awesome. And it's such a pleasure being here with all of you wonderful, creative, brilliant scholars. This is so awesome. I loved it. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you again so much for coming on to our show. And make sure you go to Mr. Shealy's new project, All-Star Ambassador Student Leadership Team.
Mm-hmm.
So can you explain what that is real quick?
Sure. So what I'm working on, because I am a school counselor, so what I'm working on at my elementary school is I'm getting a group of 3rd through 5th grade together, and I'm forming a leadership team. Now, this leadership team is going to be one that's very diverse. Luckily, I belong to a school that's very diverse. We have African American students, we have Latino students, we have Caucasian students, we have international students that have just joined us from different countries. So a little bit kind of what we talked about today about creating connections and inviting other people that from different walks of life that may not look like you, may not sound like you, their families may be different, but kind of just creating a leadership team together where we have this goal of just providing different services and building leadership skills in these students. But you'll notice that they all look different. They all have different kind of needs. I have students that are, excelling academically, but I also have some students that need a little bit of help. But I'm going to include them on there. And I'm doing that as well. So also some students I'm putting on, behaviorally, they are leaders. They can show other students, what they're supposed to be doing, but really kind of just bringing everyone together and creating a solid team that is culturally diverse. And one that has a foundation, a little bit what we talked about today, of beliefs and values that we're sharing the same. We all look different, but coming together.
Yeah, that's one thing that I think is really important. I love seeing like diverse people, group, friends, diverse. I even like seeing a diverse couple. That makes me really happy to see that. This shows that like race, it doesn't really mean anything. Because I remember one of our guests said this. She said, if you rip the skin off, all you have is just bones and blood. So that stuck with me, and that was really important. But what you're doing seems really nice, and it seems like it's going to make a big difference.
Oh, thank you so much, Lauren. Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. So maybe one day we can have one of the students to be what's it called, a guest on our show.
Oh, absolutely. They would love it. They would love to. Yeah. Just let me know and I'll have them on here. That would be awesome.
Okay, well, thank you. So again, thank you to our sponsors, the Blush Factor Organic Makeup, and thank you to Mary Kay. And make sure you check out the Blush Factor. It should be coming out later on this year. So make sure you like, follow, subscribe, and comment down below your favorite part of the show. Send us a 1-minute video explaining why you think you would be a great guest co-host. And go to some of our platforms, which is Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, Snapchat, and LinkedIn, and go to our website, www.ourkidsedition.com, www.ourkidsedition.com. So signing off until next week from Elizabeth, Noah, Ava, and me, your host, Lauren Olivia. Hasta la vista, everybody. Bye.
So, I came here to say something.
No, you can say it.
Oh, I wanted to say that strawberries suck.
They're not bad.
No, I said they're buff, meaning strong.
Oh, I thought you said strawberries suck.
No, they're buff. They're buff.
be a strawberry.
That happens to me.
Strawberries don't suck. They're buff.
So thank you so much, Mr. Shealy, for joining us. Did you enjoy the show?
I loved it. This was so much fun. I mean that. Y'all have me cracking up. Y'all are so much fun. I needed this after this long week I had you all. Like I said, I do a lot during the week, and my weekends are my time to just hang out and just relax. And this really, really helped me. This was genuinely a lot of fun. I loved it. And thank you, Elizabeth, for calling me and inviting me, and that long voicemail that you left me, inviting me to the show. I thank you so much for having me. I'm really pleased. Y'all are so much fun. Y'all are so smart and brilliant and hilarious. This podcast is gonna go places. This is so much fun.
So Elizabeth and Miss Tanya, they were very instrumental. You came highly recommended. I think it could not have been a better guest to serve the kids today, especially with your expertise. I can't talk it.
Yeah, tongue twister.
I can't get it out. But anyway, thank you so much for coming on board. You know, I wanted someone to come on. They said they wanted to talk about friendship, so I thought it would be good to have, a professional on to be able to kind of share with them, the importance of what that really means from a foundational standpoint, from a psychological standpoint, and from a medical standpoint. So everything that you shared was very, very inclusive to, what I thought. But again, I just wanted to let them see it.